Can one 80-year-old woman change the world? Let's hope so.
This is Binge with Baldrick, the interesting show for curious minds and hungry hearts. Here now, a guy who's lived his entire life with artificial intelligence, Thomas Baldrick.
Much love and gratitude for being here. I am Thomas Baldrick. I woke up today. Life is good. We are here to celebrate the incredible Ironman Natalie Grabow. So let's go. This woman from New Jersey is 80 years young. She is the oldest woman to complete the Ironman World Championships Triathlon in Kona. Today, we are not only going to explore this amazing accomplishment, but the impact, the ripple effect it could have around the world. Get a load of this. She finished the 140.6 mile event in 16 hours, 45 minutes, and 26 seconds. Take a look or listen at how she finished.
From the USA, Natalie Grabow. After that she comes, come on everybody, can you scream? Natalie! Can you scream louder? There she is. Showing her pleasure there. Natalie Grabow, you are an Ironman of 3. Everybody scream. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, scream! One more time. Natalie Grabow.
So exhausted, she fell right before the finish line, and I'm sure she picked herself up in her head 1,000 times during this event. So let's recap what Natalie accomplished. She did a 2.4 mile swim in rough waters in Kailua Bay. She followed that up with a 112 mile bicycle road race through lava rock and around the island. And then she ran your basic 26.2 miles on the official marathon course. Natalie is a Jersey girl, but I have not tried that angle to connect with her. She must be just wiped out in every which way. But I do want to quickly thank another Jersey girl here for alerting me to this story yesterday. My cousin, Heather Gonnett-Wren, is a world-class triathlete herself. I'm not just blown away at how well she finishes doing Ironman events, but to me, her dedication and relentless training that she puts herself through is also most impressive in pushing herself harder and harder and harder. Heather, we are all so proud of you. Since we are talking triathlon, let me bring in the third Wonder Woman on this episode of Binge with Baldrick. You are going to love this woman. Her name is Vanessa Ronksley. The perspective I hoped we could get from Vanessa today is from another female triathlon expert on what this milestone event means and what it could mean in the future. So for that, let's go to the Great White North. Hello, Vanessa. It's so great to have you here. Let's fill in that I'm so excited about doing this. I forgot to hit record, but welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I am also very, very excited to be here and can't wait to talk about triathlon, which is one of my absolute passions in life, to be able to share this whole experience that has just happened this weekend with your audience.
Let's set you up for people. Your background and experience in triathlon. I know you've run events. I know you work in the sport and you host a podcast. So would you just brag about yourself for a moment?
Oh my gosh. I don't like to talk about myself. But I actually was not always interested in triathlon. I was a high school biology teacher for a large portion of my life, and I had been an athlete in various different sports, and someone had suggested to me that I try a triathlon, and that was in 2019. And so I crossed my first finish line. It was an indoor triathlon in the middle of winter, and it was probably one of the greatest moments of my life. And I got so excited and decided that I needed to look into this sport a little bit more. So, one thing led to another. I fell into the TriDot training platform, found a real community there. It was something that I needed. It was during COVID that I became, just enthralled with the online community and support that this training platform had offered me. And eventually I just ended up asking the company if they had a job for me because I loved it so much. And
Wow.
yeah, so I turned my hobby into my entire life. And I feel so grateful and fortunate that I've been able to take something that I'm passionate about and have it be part of my work life as well. So I've been so grateful for everything that has come to me as a result of that one finish line. And how old was I? I think I was 39 when I crossed my first finish line. So it's a remarkable sport that allows people to, join where they are. And it doesn't matter what your background has been. There's a spot for everyone on that start line and then the finish line as well.
Oh my God, I wish you could see your face. It just lights up when you talk about this. I'm so happy for you. Um, and while you're on top of the world, let me throw one more golden nugget for you. So, my cousin Heather is a triathlete. She loves the platform, used the TriDot training platform for the first time for her last 70.3-mile Ironman event. Not only did it get her on the podium, but it earned her a spot at the championships in Marbella, Spain next month.
Amazing. Oh, that's so exciting. I absolutely love hearing stories like that. And it's a common theme. Um, Athletes will transfer over from whatever training they're doing and they'll come to TriDot and they'll train fewer hours. And then they will have way better results than what they had previously. It's a remarkable program, and I wish I was going to be able to be in Marbella. I actually qualified for Marbella as well at the Ironman 70.3 in Victoria that happened last May. I took my slot, and then I ended up racing in Lake Placid in July, and was wondering why I was experiencing so much pain during that race compared to the other Ironman full distances I had completed. And it ended up that I found out about a month ago that I have a stress reaction in my femur. So I will not be able to race in Marbella. I just decided that last week. So very disappointed, but for all of the athletes that get to have that experience, like your cousin is in for a treat, because the way that Ironman puts on an event like that, you just, as an athlete, you feel like, and as you should, you're racing in the World Championship event alongside the pros, which doesn't happen in many other, sports fields, where you get to do the same thing that the pros are doing. But it's a magnificent event. You feel that the whole world has come together from all of these different places, and it's incredible. So your cousin is going to have a great time, and I wish her the very best.
Oh, and she'll kill it. Absolutely kill it.
Yeah.
All right. So, speaking of that, let's talk about Kona. Let's talk first about your personal excitement and experience in following Natalie trying to survive this event.
Yes. So I have been very fortunate. I working with TriDot. We actually attended the World Championship last year in Kona for the men's race. And when I got to the actual race location, I legitimately thought to myself, who in their right mind would want to race in this climate? Because it is just stifling. It's like someone has opened an oven and you have this hot air blasting in your face, and the wind is just as hot as the ambient temperature. And not only that, but it's humid. And so it is just like, I am in awe of all of the athletes that are capable of believing in themselves that they can do it. And then not only
Mm-hmm.
that, but being able to cross that finish line. So the fact that there are, on the weekend, this event, I blocked it off in my calendar. I legitimately told my family, I am going to be watching the entire Ironman World Championship from start to finish, and I'm not doing anything else. So just so you know, I've wanted to watch the entire pro broadcast, and you don't see any of the amateurs, the age groupers as they call them, but you're able to see the pros, and so I was very, very excited to watch this. And I do have to tell you, when I was watching the broadcast, they had done a little preview of Natalie, and I did not realize that there was a woman who is competing and in that age category of 80 to 84. These people, like, there are so many people who come into this sport at various ages, and to think that they are capable of doing that long of a
Mm-hmm.
course. Like, we're talking 2.4 mile swim, 112 miles on the bike, and 26.2 miles of running. And to be able to do that at any age is remarkable. But then when you
Mm-hmm.
start hearing about women and men who are in their 60s and 70s and 80s now, completing not only that distance, but completing it in the types of conditions that Kona has to throw at you. It was incredible to see Natalie, and the way that she was so youthful in her movement. You would never ever guess that she was in her 80s, and she was just, you could just see from the very short clip that they had of her on camera, she was just filled with absolute joy. So to be able to witness that and to see the race unfold, and how the pros, the top two contenders, didn't even make it to the finish line. They both suffered from heat stroke. And
Mm-hmm.
so the fact that these age group women are completing the course, and then having this amazing Natalie, being 80 years old, complete that course under the cutoff time. For all your listeners, I'm not sure if they're aware, but you have to complete the course within 17 hours. And Natalie was able to do that. So it is just, it's so mind blowing. It's inspirational. I love being around people like Natalie. And you are at every single race. You will see all body types. You will see every type of person represented, whether they're an athlete or not an athlete. And you will see, just everyone. Every single person is represented at a start line at one of these races. And so it is such a gift to be able to surround yourself with people like that, and to see that as, the aspiration of healthy aging. Ultimately, that's
Uh,
what I like to see.
so you've been there before, and we showed the video clip of her finishing. Poor thing. It's just so inspirational. It doesn't seem like a strong enough word. But can you explain the atmosphere at the finish line of the Ironman Championships, and what that must have been like being there to see her and for her?
Oh gosh. Well, just for starters, I have shivers all over my body just even thinking
Me
about
too.
yeah, the energy that is involved there. I'm not sure if all of your listeners have had that amazing opportunity to go to Hawaii, but as soon as you step off that plane, there is a really special energy that is on any of those islands to begin with, and so you have that energy, and then you put up this Ironman World Championship finish line that the staff construct over days. They put so much care into making that spot very special for the athletes and the spectators. And then when you're actually there, they have this red carpet that the athletes get to run down. And as soon as they hit that red carpet, there are fans on either side cheering. I'm going to cry. They're cheering so loudly for these athletes who have been doing something for hours upon hours in the hot blazing sun and those lava fields and the winds and just the conditions. And so these athletes are running down and they're so excited that they finally made it to that red carpet. And as they approach that finish line, there are stands of people. And that's like a little mini bowl. So you have people on the left, you have people on the right, you have a huge grandstand in the background, and there's a gigantic clock that has, the time ticking, and it has everyone's names who are crossing that finish line. And it's at nighttime for those athletes who are coming across, who've been out there for so long. So it's dark and there's lights, and it's just, it is the most incredible place I've ever been. And I like to describe it. The Ironman finish line is more magical than Disneyland. So everyone always says, how magical Disneyland is, but no, if you want to experience something that will consume your soul, I urge you to go to any Ironman race between 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. and your life will be altered, because you will see, I'm going to cry again. I had this wonderful opportunity to be at the finish line of multiple Ironman events as a spectator, as a result of my line of work. And the emotion that comes through every single athlete's entire being is so overwhelming. You can absolutely feel every single thing that person is feeling. And the most interesting thing about that place is every person who starts an Ironman, they have a story and they have a reason for being there. And when they cross that finish line, it's like they've overcome something extremely difficult in their life. And you can see it and you can feel it. And so the fact that people are capable of doing this, like Natalie, all the way through their 80s is mind-blowing. And it's something that I just wish that every single person had the opportunity to do, to not only see this event, but then to believe in themselves, to think that this could be their story as well.
When so eloquently said, when we spoke on the phone yesterday, and thank you for all the chills you're giving me. It's like I'm in the Great White North. But Vanessa, in particular, the scenario you described, what Natalie went through, it's the combination of the magical aloha spirit with the magical power of the human spirit. And we all have some of that in us. And so you and I were talking on the phone yesterday, and I'm sure today's version of it will be even better. But we each, the two of us in our own way, have such hope for what this accomplishment by this woman can do in Canada. Talk about, I know you're very passionate about the health of women and girls. And for me, I just want to see obese America get off the couch and live a healthier and happier life.
Yeah. I am extremely passionate about women and girls' health. You've done your research, my friend.
I told you, I while you were having Thanksgiving dinner, I stalked you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Tell your husband I'm harmless, though.
Okay. We'll let him know. Yeah. So the fact that I see the complexity of of this issue that we're having in terms of health and how it starts with children. And we think it starts with children, but it actually starts with the parents and what the parents are doing and how the parents are modeling behaviors for their children. And so when we say that the future is the children, we actually have to, as parents, take action to allow the children to be the future. And so what I think about this is people need to become the role model for their children to lead a life that's full of all the things that we want them to have: joy, gratitude, healthy lifestyle. We want all of those things for our kids. And so we have to embody that as parents. And I'm very passionate about this aspect as well. And one of the things that I like to tell my kids is that you can do hard things. And there's one thing to say that to your kids, but you have to show that to your kids. So what I'm asking for all of the members in your audience is to do something that will show your children that it's okay to do hard things and to be uncomfortable and to push through that discomfort. And where I'm going with this, obviously, is I think everyone needs to do a triathlon because it's not easy.
Right.
The training that you have to do to be prepared and to get to that start line, regardless of the distance of that triathlon, there are sprint triathlons, there are super sprint triathlons. They're not very long in distance. And so everyone has the opportunity to do these events. And I just feel like this is such a powerful mechanism for women, especially because we need to be able to, present ourselves in the world where we can accomplish these wonderful and amazing things. I think that women in particular need to have a space where they feel welcomed and confident, and that they can overcome barriers, especially in the respect of athletics. And it's interesting to me that a lot of women who have not experienced athletics as a child, they have this large apprehension about thinking that they are not capable of doing something because they've never tried it before. And I've been very fortunate. I do some coaching at a local triathlon club, and I do adult learn to try classes. And so most of the people who come there have not done a triathlon before. I'd say 99% of them have not done a triathlon. And a large proportion of them are women. And the thing that I say to them on the very first day is I say, I am so proud of you for showing up today. Because I know what it took for you to not only sign up for this class, but to get here. I try and break down that barrier and just say, hey, you're here. Let's start from exactly where you're at, which is often, I can't swim 25 meters. And I say, that is okay. Let's start where you're at. Let's get you going with some fins or whatever. Let's just get you going. And so I think what women need to do, and men as well, this applies to anybody, to be honest. You have to have a tiny little ounce of courage to try something that is out of your comfort zone. Just take that first step and then let the pieces fall into place. And if you have action that goes alongside that courage, then you will have this sense of wonderful accomplishment that comes through sport, but it bleeds out into all areas of your life. And so if you want to, whatever you envision for yourself in your future, then you will find it by taking a risk and being courageous and trying something new. So I really hope that just one person out there can have an experience that is similar to my experience and is similar to those people that attend my classes, because it's life altering. Absolutely. But you just have to take that first step.
And particularly for women, as you said, how they seem to approach a triathlon. Um, the From start to finish, top to bottom, wherever you want to call it, or however you want to call it, but the top women finished in under 8.5 hours, only about a half hour behind the top men. That is incredible, and that just shows you how far women have come and how far they can go.
Absolutely. It's just mind blowing to me, to be able to see these women accomplishing things, and it is so important for us to have role models like these women. They're truly breaking down barriers for not only access to sport, but for accomplishment as well. And it just is so wonderful. One of the things that I love about the Ironman World Championship is that they had separated for the last 2 years. Maybe it was three, actually. The last 3 years, they'd separated the men's and the women's competition. And so the broadcast was solely focused on whichever gender was racing on that day. And so we have the ability to have 100% of that broadcast be on the women, which is not typical in most sports, right? And they found that the viewership of the women's event surpassed the men's event, actually. And
Wow.
it's just mind blowing. So they have gone back to the original format of having the men and women race on the same day. But I truly believe that having these visuals of these women pushing themselves to their absolute max is a really wonderful visual for all women to say, hey, I probably have more in me than I've ever given before. And so it's just a wonderful thing to see these professional women, but also to see these age group women like Natalie. And
Mhm.
something that is so important about having a person like herself in the spotlight and seeing what she's capable of doing just opens the door for anyone to think, could that be me? Could I be that person who crosses a finish line of an Ironman World Championship when I'm 80 years old? Why not? Why can't that be you? Why can't it be any of us? Because clearly what she's done is she's just taken that first step towards being courageous. She's tried something new. I don't know her story as to how long she's been in the sport, but I do know women who have started triathlon in their 60s.
She's
There
one
are,
of them.
she is one of them. There you go.
Hmm.
And one of the things we were talking about over Thanksgiving dinner was someone had said to me, when they thought that she had started the sport. And I said, probably really late in her life, because the fact that she was able to do this until she was 80, I would imagine she hadn't been doing it for much longer than that, because, your body, extreme sports take a toll on your body. And so, for someone to be able to do that for decades upon decades is, I don't know, it could happen, but it's not as likely. So yeah, if she started in her 60s, like, just think that opens up an entire world of opportunity in terms of aging in itself, right? Like, that is
Right.
healthy and remarkable aging. And it just makes me think, like, that could be me. Why can't that be me? So I just,
Right.
it's just incredible.
Yeah. I am so relieved. I thought you were going to say your family member asked at Thanksgiving dinner, did you block that guy's number? Um,
Definitely.
any any final thoughts? Not that you've already said everything so wonderfully, and talk about magic. You bring it. Um, But I'll ask you again to brag about your company this time. Maybe you'll be more comfortable with that. But for the hopes that you and I have about how people can push themselves or maybe enter this sport, which is, you talked about it being such a great personal achievement and the great community that you get to become a part of. give a plug why TriDot is perfect for this. This is why you're here. It's just such a perfect match.
Yeah, I came across an ad. I'm extremely competitive and always have been from the moment I was born, apparently. And I, not sure if that comes across or not. Yeah, I'm a competitive person. And so when this ad came across my social media feed and it said that there was this project and they were looking for athletes to provide data to try out the platform. And within 2 months of using that platform, I knew I was going to work for the company someday. And I'll tell you
Wow.
why. It was because I love science. I'm a scientist at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And this program, it takes every single aspect of who you are as a person, and it turns it into a training program that is unique to you. No other athlete is going to have the same training program as you are. And I thought that was something that was so remarkable. So you fill in a bunch of information about yourself, your age and your gender and how long you've been doing sports and whatnot. You can even upload your genetic profile. And if you have done that, and then you put in what race you're training for, where you live, like the elevation, the humidity, the temperature, all of these things will have an effect on your training. And every single second of the data that you capture and put into that system will inform your future training. And so I just was mind blown that this technology existed. And so I became very excited about this. Now, that's one aspect. That's the training aspect itself, which I love. I love training so much. It's so methodical and it's like a moving meditation for me. And it's time, speaking of being a mother and having a full-time career, the time that I spend training is my time. It is the time that I have to fill myself up, to make sure that I'm the best version of myself so that I can be the best version of myself for everybody else in my life. And I feel like a lot of people, whoever you are out there, a lot of people do not give themselves that kind of time. And that is so special to be able to not only take that time, but to make it something that is benefiting my health, both mentally and physically, and then to be at top form for the rest of my family. That is so valuable to me, and it became imperative for me to have this time on a daily basis so that I could show up for everybody else. So I love that aspect of the training. But the other aspect of TriDot that was the thing that got me hooked was the community of people whom you're surrounded by. With TriDot, you have an entire community of all sorts of people who've come from all walks of life, all different ages. And it's so remarkable that you share this very deep companionship that comes from being an endurance athlete, which if you train and swim, bike, and run, you, in my mind, are a triathlete.
Correct.
I don't care how many finish lines or how fast you do it. If you do those three things, you're a triathlete. So when you have that in your mindset as part of your identity and you come together as a group to share that, to share your wins, to share your losses, to share the hardships, there's just something so comforting about having to do something difficult alongside other people. And it's motivating and it makes you want to be a part of this great energy that is just there through TriDot. I was drawn in because of the data, and I ended up staying because of the people. I became friends online with this person. Her name is Ronnie, and she ended up living 20 minutes away from me. And now we're best friends. And I have two other friends as well that I've met through the program. They're both named Kristen. So there's Kristen, and Ronnie, and myself. and we call ourselves the Fab Four. We met through TriDot, and we went to an ambassador camp together. I think it was in 2021, and we've been friends ever since, and we chat every single day. And so that wouldn't have happened to me if I had not, all from one
Mm-hmm.
ad, that I saw.
Right.
I have gained 3 best friends who love the same things that I love, and we are so supportive of one another. And one of the Kristens was actually in Kona this past weekend. And so we were just able to live vicariously through her, living out one of her dreams that she has had for a very, very long time.
Oh,
And it was just, it's so special. Like these relationships that you come across, just as a result of being courageous and taking a step. Like there's just nothing greater than that. And I attribute that to TriDot. Yeah, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that it fell into my life.
and I am so grateful that you fell into my life. You are such a wonderful role model for TriDot, for women, for moms, and for anyone who wants to be more than they are or more they think they can be. And I am just honored. And thank you again for bringing me emotionally and energetically to the great white north with you. I've had chills 50 times in our talk.
Oh, you were so kind. I was truly honored that you had asked me to come on your podcast, and it's been such a gift to share this time with you. And I really, truly hope that even just one person in your audience signs up for a triathlon, and eventually makes it to that finish line, no matter how many times it takes. I know this woman who, she went to the start of an Ironman full distance. I can't remember if it was 6 times, and she didn't make it. And she was in her 60s. She didn't make it for 6 times that she went to that start line. And I had the opportunity to be there at her 7th attempt.
Oh,
And I will never forget. I put her in my tracker. She's a TriDot athlete, and I wouldn't have known her if she hadn't been on the TriDot platform. I put her in my tracker to make sure that I could do everything to help her to get to that finish line. And it was dark. It was late at night, and she was, how many? It was 6 miles. I'm trying to do the conversion in my mind. What kilometers is? She was 6 miles from the finish line, and she was coming up this. I went to find her. She was coming up this hill, and it was pitch black. She was out there, and there was barely anyone else there. And her family was, up the road, and we came across each other, and I ran down to her, and she said, "I don't know if I can do this." And I looked at her, and I said, "You will do this. You will run up that hill." I cry every time I think about this. And she made it across that finish line. And it was such a gift to be a witness to her strength. And this is crazy to think that this is not the first time that I've been able to witness this type of experience with a person. And so I just truly hope that someone who's out there listening can think that, they have the ability to do this, because I can guarantee that it will be life altering. So I hope that everyone takes one little action of finding a local triathlon in their community and finding a friend and inviting them on this journey to getting to a finish line.
One more compliment. You are also an incredible role model for sharing is caring, because as you share, you can't help but feel how much you care.
Oh, you're just so sweet. Yeah, I do care. I care so much about, humanity in general. And what I care most about is that if we come to life and we really show up, and we show up in this growth mindset, in that we need to, really, we need to approach things that happen to us in life with the idea that this is happening for us. These things, however difficult they are, they're happening for us, and it's bringing us to the most wonderful experience of life. And the mindset is how we get through that. And I can say that the triathlon in itself has been able to show that for me. And it's just allowed me to have such greater meaning in my life. And I really do care, for all the people out there, especially those who take that one tiny step, because it is so hard to take. It is so monumental, and it has such great value. So I hope that people, just do something that's outside of their comfort zone and take that step.
Thank you for showing up, taking this step, and I'll give you one thing to look forward to if you watch the video version. I want to thank your beautiful dog for showing up behind you.
Oh yeah, that's Pippi.
I didn't want to distract you. You were on such a roll.
Yeah, she has her way of working herself into most of the podcasting that I do.
Okay.
In some way, yeah. Even if it's just a little tail that's flapping, or
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love those two words, thank you, but thank you. They're important, as are you.
Thank you.
I'm speechless, but I'll still talk because that's what I do. I can't get over how, if you're still here, we already answered the question, can this astonishing 80-year-old woman who completed the Ironman World Championships triathlon, could she change the world? Well, my friends, she already has. And I can't get over how I walked into this thinking I would be talking about one extraordinary woman who can change the world and stumble upon another. In closing, I want to thank my cousin Heather Gonnett-Wren for creating this magic, and I want to thank Vanessa Ronksley for bringing the magic. Wow, wow, wow. If you are someone who is in some way inspired by this episode, please reach out and let me know. It would be wonderful to hear from you. This is Binge with Baldrick. Thank you for being with us. I greatly appreciate it. And I look forward to being back with you again when all of us are a new and better version of ourselves. Godspeed, my friends. Go Birds.